Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PC Gamer Show for May 23rd, 20 great teen.
May 23rd.
May 23rd. There's a Battlefield 1 live stream happening now. And
Happening right now. If you're listening to this podcast after we're recording it, it has actually already happened.
Yes, so I'm sure you're bathing in that news. But
if you're on Twitch right now, Twitch might be exploding.
Yeah, we're not sure. Our dashboard is freaking out, and we can't really monitor the health of our stream. So bear with us. Either way, this will be available digitally, iTunes.
We're just shooting this into the abyss.
We're going to pray this all works. But yeah, anyway, hi, I'm James Davenport, and who are you?
I'm Wes Fenlon.
Wes Fenlon.
Thanks for introducing me, James. That was really smooth of you.
Super smooth.
We're here to talk about PC games.
Yeah. I was gone last week on a secret mission.
I was gone last week.
You were also gone last week.
Not on a secret mission. I was just gone.
A family mission.
Yeah.
To see family. I was on a video game mission, and I saw things. I can't talk about any of them except Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, which we'll be talking about today as a major topic.
I ate a biscuit with fried chicken and gravy on it.
Is there an embargo on the taste?
Hell no.
Hey,
you cannot embargo
let me know.
Fried chicken
Break
biscuit.
it down right now.
Oh, homegrown Atlanta, Georgia. Great, like very, very kind of almost San Francisco-y hipster style restaurant.
Okay.
But it's, for one thing, it's nice to be in the South and to walk into a restaurant with like gay pride stuff on the walls and like fuck hate kind of messaging around. And they make some real good traditional Southern food, biscuits and gravy and grits and all that stuff, which growing up I wasn't obsessed with. But now when I go back to Georgia to see friends and family, I always want to get as much of it as I can. Yeah,
you absolutely.
Now it's I miss it now that it's gone, or now that I'm gone.
I mean, you know, the distance makes the, what is the thing? Heart grow. So I don't fucking know.
How can you not know this expression?
I don't know,
but I also played some video games. So.
You did.
And you played a ton of video games.
Yeah. Again, and I can't. You'll hear all about them in the coming weeks. But
E3 is right around the corner.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's June 12th, 13th. Well, EA Play is happening like the weekend before.
E3 is now kind of just a state of mind. You know,
yes.
The month of June and some of May.
The news dump. But we've been playing games that are not under embargo that are available in our homes today, right now, and you have been playing one such game.
Yeah, so while I was kind of on short vacation, hanging out with friends, we ended up playing a good chunk of this game called Wizard of Legend, which I think just came out last week, or maybe it was the week before. Pretty new, roguelike pixel art game. Cool. You know, it checks like all the boxes for what's popular in kind of indie games right now, you know, almost to a cliche extent. Right. But it's a really fun game. So it uses the kind of roguelite structure that you might be familiar with from like Rogue Legacy or something like that, where you're kind of going into these procedurally generated dungeons, trying to fight your way through them, and then you'll accrue some resources while playing each run that you can use to spend kind of outside the run and buy new abilities, kind of upgrades, that kind of thing. But the game is basically all combat. Like, there's no puzzle solving. There's not really much in the way of exploration. I mean, you're walking through these randomly generated levels, but they're kind of just there to take you from room to room where you're going to fight a bunch of enemies. So the focus is on combat, and the combat's really fun. It's, you know, that kind of top-down, like Hyperlight Drifter style, and it has a similar feel where it's really snappy, fast-paced. You know, you're going to do a lot of dodging to get out of attacks. You have kind of you start out with a set of 4 attacks that you can use constantly, and they each have, you know, a few second cooldowns. You have your kind of basic attack, your dash attack, kind of a third like ability, and then a fourth that is your kind of most powerful, like your super. And the game has like 100 or more of these abilities that you can mix and match as you unlock them. So you'll find them just in a run. You'll, you know, kill a room full of enemies, and like one of them occasionally will drop one of these new abilities. There's a shop on every level that you can buy one in, but that's just a temporary in the run ability that you're gaining, and then outside of the run you can actually buy them, and then there'll be a few special things in the run, like when you beat a boss where you'll get one that you get to keep. So that's kind of your reward.
Gotcha.
That you get to carry it out if you performed well enough, basically, and keep that ability. Every ability has an upgrade level that adds, duration to the effect, or makes it do more damage, or like you're spinning blades around you, and then they'll shoot off and hit other enemies if you get the upgraded version, that kind of thing. So it's it's really fun. It's a game that just kind of lives and dies on its combat feel, and the combat feel is great, and the abilities are really, really varied, which is cool. So we just ended up kept going through runs.
Well, it's kind of one more time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's good at kind of dishing out the little upgrades so that every time you finish a run, you'll probably be able to buy like one new ability or so, or a couple if you have saved some money up, and then you just want to go try those out and feel how they work off of each other and come up with cool combos for stuff. Cool. So it's a lot of fun.
And that's what is it called?
Wizard of Legend, I believe.
Is it early access?
No, it just came out, and I don't think maybe they had talked about it at some point in the past. I had not heard of this game at all, and it's one of those really nice surprises when, I'd say we're pretty up on new games coming out, and when a game just comes out fully formed, it's not an early access, and is just fun to play, and you've never heard of it before, and it's just there. It's great.
Yeah, every now and then we'll just see something we don't know at the top of the Steam charts, and it's always it's good to know those.
So I highly recommend it if you like action roguelike games. It is checks all the boxes for that.
Right on, man. Good recommendation. Anything else you've been playing? It's kind of the bulk of it.
I'd say that's about it. I played a little Fortnite back before I went on my trip, but I'm not James level yet.
Oh God,
I'm James Pro,
and I'm awful compared to those teens out there.
I mean,
legions.
What you've just said makes me look very bad, so I appreciate that. No,
sorry, Wes.
No, I didn't even get enough into the game to like rebind my keys and stuff. Like I was kind of trying out the defaults and just seeing what it was like. And I know you recommend like change all the bindings for building and stuff, because I would very frequently have someone shooting at me and be like, how do I build a wall? And then I'm dead.
Those big F keys, the F1.
Yeah. I don't have those.
It's hard to reach.
Key fingers.
Yeah, I don't know who does. I'd be curious to see like an esport pro who just hasn't touched those and can somehow dance on that top row with their fingers. But
someone with just really freakish hands, probably.
Some salad finger looking stuff. Cool. Well, you've tried Fortnite. You did it at least.
Did it? I tried it. I'll play it some more.
Sure. Yeah, I'll hop in with me with some duos. Maybe get some squads going with Lucas.
You're never around when I want to play video games.
I know.
You're off having a life, something like that.
Trying to. Cool.
I could have played more games on my trip, but I ended up just watching an entire season of ER for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in LA during my downtime, I brought my gaming laptop, or the one I'm borrowing from work, and I had Destiny's new expansion. I had Fortnite's week 3, I think it was at that point, challenges, and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna watch Arrested Development.
You were also playing games like 12 hours a day for work.
I was pretty burnt out by the end of the day, and being burnt out at games, poor me. But yeah, I mean, since the trip and somewhere in between, I've been slowly getting back into Fortnite, which even a week away, so much has happened. We're gonna touch on that in a bit.
Do you think it's gonna stay your sort of just background game, the one that you just keep playing, a little bit every day?
I think I don't know. I'm curious, because if I didn't cover it at work so often, I kind of wonder if I would be as invested. And it takes it's a game that requires staying on top of to some extent, because
you leave for a week and they add jetpacks.
It's fucking jetpacks now, and it's very disorienting otherwise. So
you know why? Because it's a game made for the teens.
It is made for the teens, and they're ruining my life. But yeah, I played some more Fortnite. I'll talk about the jetpack update in a bit. Besides that, in my backlog, I've been sitting on Metro Last Light for a long time, and I decided to try it out, give it a shot, and I don't know what the hype's all about. I've had so many people like, it's the best single player FPS since Half-Life 2. I'm like, wow, that's really high praise. I've had several people tell me things like this.
It's a lot about the atmosphere, right?
Yes, and even the atmosphere at times is great. And I'm going in like remembering this came out in 2015, 2014, something like that.
That was the Redux version, right?
Oh, really? So maybe even earlier.
I feel like it's a little older than that, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, and I am dating it properly in my head and like understanding like graphically at the time this was amazing, and some of the things going on were sort of unprecedented, think the story is garbage, like total garbage. It's like it basically. I'm not going to spoil.
Say
too
how
much,
you really feel.
But the opening 4 hours or so basically like sees the protagonist on a tour through the 3 or so of the remaining civilizations in this area, and each of them is like a very clear like caricature of like a political ideology. So one, they literally call it the Nazis, and I think they just literally are Nazis, but post-apocalypse Nazis. Another is more of like a
they call them Nazis.
yeah.
I mean, at least they're not trying
There's
to
no Nazi
sugarcoat
imagery,
it.
but it's like red and black, and they're like
It's no Hydra bullshit.
No, they're literally killing people because they are impure and such. But and there's a communist faction that is more so like Karl Marx ideologies, but playing out in the post-apocalypse.
So this is like the Star Trek version of a post-apocalypse, where it's actually just a planet.
I don't think it's as smart though.
Okay,
because it basically introduces these ideas and shows you like the worst fucking side of these ideologies, of which there are many. It's like all of them are collapsing,
not subtle,
or under like some kind of pressure or corruption or whatever, and it's just boring to me. It's like a waste of that setting to me to be like, it's the post-apocalypse. We've been living underground for decades or whatever it is at this point, and how has society changed? Well, it hasn't. It's just the same shit, but underground now. It's just dirtier and grimier, and there are big giant mutant rats, and that's like a little boring to me. It feels like pretty.
Big giant mutant rats are pretty cool.
That's cool. All that stuff's pretty cool.
But
and those are my favorite
Princess
bits.
Bride did that.
Like I just got to a section of the game where I go back outside, and like I'm really loving that, where I'm on my own in a very oppressive environment. But the rest of it, when it's like goofy ass English VO, like with thick, Russian or Polish or whatever it is accents, like nothing but exposition. It just really bothers me. Like I can't get.
Did you play Stalker?
I've played Stalker. I've never finished Stalker because whenever I play Stalker, I end up just like doing nothing that has to do with like a main quest. I just kind of wander off and have a weird bespoke experience and like return to it like 2 years later.
I didn't give Stalker enough time. I played probably the first couple hours of it, and I wanted, kind of similar to what you're doing in Metro, like I really wanted to see what people loved about Stalker, and I got some of that pretty quickly in the atmosphere for that game. It's like a guy playing the guitar by the campfire, or the fire around the burnt out, oil barrel or whatever, and the open world being this very hazardous fuck you place compared to any Elder Scrolls game or something. But I didn't give enough time to really get into the meat of it, because after the first tutorial mission or two, I kind of was trying to go out and explore and would just accidentally wander into some radiation and just die, or find two guys out in the open world who would just shoot me and just kill me instantly. Like I couldn't handle a firefight with anybody. So I was like, okay, this game seems cool, but it's really hard at the beginning, and I just didn't give it enough time to
you got to be
get into it.
Thirsty for an unforgiving, systemic.
Just want that punishment.
Yeah, and it is excellent for that. And that's what I been missing from Metro. Maybe I unfairly went in expecting more weird shit, but it's all very it's like it feels like a Hollywood action movie interpretation of Stalker. It's a little too shiny and I don't know, predictable for what I want, but I respect it. Also, okay, last thing, we'll move on. Fuck that game for having advertisements for the next book in the game, like literally as a
Really?
poster on the wall, or like books in an environment, or like, you know, Metro 2035 coming soon. And I'm like so irritated by that. Like
Because it brings you out of the fiction.
Yeah, instantly. Like, oh my god. Anyway, I understand why people like these games, especially like if I put myself back as like a younger person in whatever year it came out, I would probably be way more impressed. But I'm like sort of just a jerk, grumpy old man.
You know what you should play instead?
What's that?
You should go back and play Thief.
I should.
There's some atmosphere.
Yeah, that is some good atmosphere. You know, it's been a long time.
Thief 2.
Maybe I will. Anyway, that's what we've been playing. Fortnite, though. And speaking of Fortnite, I'm going to talk about it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to talk about it.
He's going to talk about it. There's nothing you can do.
Because, I mean, there's some like stuff we can't ignore that happened this week.
Jetpacks.
And that's big because it's a broken item.
Because you can fly.
Basically. And let me get this.
I mean, anyone who's seen Thunderball knows how cool jetpacks are.
They are cool. I mean, there's
jetpacks and Thunderball's super lame.
Yeah.
But the jetpack and the Rocketeer, now that's a cool fucking
excellent
jetpack.
And they even added like a Rocketeer skin.
No shit.
Yes. It's not, you know.
I suddenly
License,
understand why you've spent hundreds of dollars on Fortnite paraphernalia.
I'm reaching the end of it where I'm just like, I realize it's a problem now, and I am not going to do it anymore.
Is it hundreds yet? Is it over 100?
No. I've definitely spent $100. Like,
that's still too much, but it's not bad yet.
It's
not
fine for
real
me
bad.
when I think about how much I've played of that game, and that's fine.
And you're still bad at it?
It's fucking hard. Like those teens, I don't know like what they're doing. Point is, Fortnite got a jetpack update in 4.2. The 4.2 content update. Jetpacks were added. They first of their kind, a new category of item overall called the backpack. So there are throwables, there are weapons, there are health items, and now there are backpack items. They take up an inventory slot like everything else.
So they don't provide more inventory space.
No. They're just like, you know, they replace your back bling and give you, you know, they do what the jetpack does. You can fly for, I think it's something like 5 seconds or so before you need to, you know, recharge it, and otherwise you.
Can you cross like a pretty significant distance?
You can go
in that?
pretty
How fast
high.
is it? Okay.
It's not too fast, but you can, if you have momentum from hop rocks, which are like the gravity rocks, if you eat those and you throw yourself, you could really cover some distance. But they're not like too OP.
It's not like a get out of any bad situation.
No, and they have like a limited
deal.
fuel source where you use it enough, it's just going to bust and go away. It's also a temporary item. So it's like last season, they introduced a lot of new items. The jetpack was originally supposed to be introduced in season 3, but I think they found out it was sort of a little too broken or a little too against the.
Didn't fit as well in the sandbox.
Yeah,
kind of
like it's a novelty, but they really want to teach players to build to get the high ground, and it's like maybe too much of an out for that.
Temporary items seems like a smart, game design way to introduce new stuff into the sandbox and test it out, and know that you can leave it in the game if you want to. If they find that it works really well, they can keep it in, but they have a really easy escape for anything that's not working. Just go, well, it's temporary. It's only going to be in here for a season or whatever, and then we'll delete it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's smart, I think, and allows them to like keep the sandbox interesting and fun, and allows them to be more, as irreverent as they want to be without committing to anything. Last season, they also introduced like the guided missile launcher as a permanent item, but that like quickly people were using it to cross the map, like, and do all sorts of crazy shit with it that they pulled it. And
it's just too much.
I am 100% sure it's coming back as a temporary item. It's like the perfect way to like just throw something in that's interesting.
It's a nice change of pace from games like League of Legends or Dota, where the economy of how you're spending your money in those games and how item builds work for the characters is so important.
Yeah.
That introducing a new item changes kind of has this massive ripple effect, right? Changes everything because all the builds are based around certain configurations. So you can't just be like, yeah, we added 5 new weapons, you know, or like armor types this week. Then just try them out. Like it would just
be a little
fuck
too
up the
upsetting.
whole game. Yeah.
And even the jetpacks, like I'm happy they're there now, but I'm already just upset that they exist because I had this, perfect. This morning I was working on some guide content for us, and I finished out a match and got to number 3. I had the high ground on this guy. Didn't know I was there. I clipped him with a shot. And I had this really nice tower built on this mountain, and he didn't have a jetpack at the time, but he must have found one nearby on a corpse or something. And I'm like, where the fuck did he go? And all of a sudden, like, I look up and boom, shotgun from above. I'm like,
from the sun.
Yeah. The good news is that fall damage still applies. So if you abuse the jetpack, you will
fall to your death.
Real quick, we'll move on from jetpacks, but it's a cool little thing. There are other backpack items in the game right now, from what I've been told. I have yet to run across them, but one is like the Eye of the Storm Tracker, which will show you the location of the next
that's
circle.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it's a cool, like, I have this information. What am I going to do with it? It's an advantage. Intel as an advantage is cool. And I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of new playful things coming out of that.
So they've also done an update to the netcode, right, for the dedicated servers in the game.
Yeah.
That I don't know if either of us have looked much into that, but apparently it is better now, a higher tick rate, something like that. So it should be a little smoother.
Yeah, hopefully. It was already fairly smooth, but I'm pretty impressed with Epic's ability to churn out these interesting content updates, but also,
reinforce the underlying stuff.
Yeah. But they've got all hands on deck for Fortnite. I'm 100% sure, no doubt.
I hope, assuming that they want to, that a decent chunk of the developers who lost their jobs when Cliffy B's studio Boss Key shut down get jobs at Epic.
That'd be nice.
Maybe they don't want to work at Epic. Before, just a few weeks ago, Cliff had tweeted something about, hey, Epic, stop trying to poach our developers. We're doing fine over here. Mm-hmm. And then obviously they were not doing fine.
They were not.
So
it's a bummer.
Hope those guys and gals land on their feet.
Yeah, Boss Key Studio shut down.
That was...
Sorry, cameras.
That was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Oh, was it? Gosh, time
flies.
I've lost track completely, Wes.
Out of the office for a week, and just who knows what's going to happen.
One more bit of Fortnite news. It's bigger news, significantly bigger news, is that Epic announced that they're going to provide a $100 million fund to fund prize pools for the first year of competitive Fortnite.
So if you want to know how well Fortnite's doing, it's doing well enough that Epic can be like, yeah, $100,000, we could spend that.
Yeah, and just to compare here, this comes from Fortune. The International 7 Dota 2's annual esports tournament is boasted a world record-breaking prize of 24.6 million, I think, the last year. So think about the gulf there.
It's crazy. I mean, it was not long ago that I can't remember if it was League or Dota, but someone set a $1 million prize pool, and that was significant at the time. That was the biggest it had been, and it's climbed so quickly since then.
So this is like there's not much to go on besides that, other than we're going to see Epic come out in full force, it appears, with whatever competitive Fortnite looks like. I have a lot of questions about what that looks like. I think Battle Royale games have a pretty big challenge in terms of like being watchable.
Yeah.
Like, how do you cast that with 100 people on a field? Beyond that, like, beyond figuring out how to follow the action, there's the problem of just the random elements of Battle Royale. You could have the best players in an arena, 100 of them, and it doesn't matter who is like the best, literally the best. If they just get bad loot, if they get bad drop location, if they get bad relationship to the circle, if they get the relationship to everyone else in the field, they just get screwed, and it's really hard to gauge true skill. I don't know. It's a challenge, and I'm sure we'll see. Like Ninja's latest Vegas tournament was an interesting twist because it was just focused on him. You know, you get to follow this one guy.
And he actually didn't do that well, right?
He didn't do great, and that's because like even 100 mediocre players against like throw Ninja into a pool of that, and he's gonna do a lot worse. You know, just gonna. There's some YouTuber tournament happened recently where instead it was a really interesting twist. Competitors squatted up and competed for kills. So they couldn't kill each other because they were all in the same squad. They could track each other at all times, and they competed in like regular vanilla public pools for the most kills.
Weird.
Yeah, so that was an interesting way to, you know, it was infinitely more watchable.
And that's a very different approach.
Yeah, it was more about showmanship, like how can you steal, you know, do cool shit and steal kills from these other guys who are also very good. Epic's probably not going to do that, but they do note that they are... they plan to be more inclusive and focused on the joy of playing and watching the game. So hopefully it's like less of the typical esports presentation we've seen from other organizations that's super trying to imitate
trying
sports.
to be ESPN kind of thing.
And a bit more fun because that's what the game is. It's like it's as impressive as these things you see Ninja and Dr. Lupo and all these people do is the thrill of playing is just like how silly it can get.
I mean, maybe we see them actually create some modes in the game kind of designed around this sort of competition, right? Like they come up with a new, you know, themed mode every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You know, how often are they adding these, you know, like the Thanos mode, right? Maybe they come up with stuff like that for competitive play where they're kind of throwing random challenges at these players. So they can't just go in expecting like, I have to be the best builder and the best, you know, at getting headshots. Like it is about adapting to the unexpected.
Yep. So it's going to be excited to see what they do. Like, and especially with as much money and forces they're putting into it. Sorry, I'm testing everyone in the chat, Twitch chat. I'm very sorry. I'm testing a new bot, and it's banning a lot of, or excuse me, timing out a lot of people. I'm turning it off for now because a lot of you are regulars, and I don't even know what you're saying. So don't mind that. You're not doing anything wrong.
The robot went crazy.
Yeah. But let's move on to another bit of news. This one is also about money, and also a lot of money. I guess less money than
not $100 million,
but
$100,000.
$100,000, and in terms of what it's for, modders. It's
so we're bringing back paid mods, but in a way that I think is not going to piss off everyone in the world. The way Valve and Bethesda's attempt did a year or two ago. So Nexus Mods, which is probably the biggest mod site, maybe number 2. I'm not sure quite how they and ModDB compare. But one of the biggest mod sites on the internet has set up or is about to set up a $100,000 pool for modders for a bunch of really big games, probably like the most popular games on Nexus Mods, where certain modders will be able to reap rewards, get paid basically for their game, for their mods based on the number of downloads they get.
Yes. It's going to be interesting to see how the system works in practice. But it's basically, Nexus Mods breaks it down like so. Each month, Nexus Mods will donate a set amount of money into a central donation pool from which the total DP, donation points, available that month will be calculated. And at the end of each month, mod authors will receive DP based on how many unique downloads their mods received that month. How many DP your mods receive will depend upon a number of factors, including how much money we've donated into the pool and how many unique downloads all the other opted-in files from other authors have received. So it's interesting for a couple reasons. It's like just a pool that is distributed among these modders in these games. And this pool, theoretically, like I would hope that they open it up to donations and eventually can just like...
Rather than just their own money.
Yeah, yeah. Right? I don't think that's like... Maybe it's sustainable. I don't know what their business situation is. I'm sure they're fine. But to incentivize modders to make better things and increase that pool would be great. Either way, again, like we don't know how this is going to distribute. too well.
Right. How much money people are
Yeah.
likely to get in a given month.
Yeah.
What the breakdown is going to be for someone who creates a popular mod. Yeah.
And what the effect will be. I'm like cynically, I go, okay, so how are people going to react and to this announcement and make things that they know are going to be low effort and high
Nude mods.
downloads? Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if there's going to
Always worried about the nude mods.
I'm a little bit worried about the nude mods, and that's fine. They should be paid too, but if they're good,
I think one of the changes they're making, which is smart for this pool to be successful, I think, is they're getting rid of their guest download system where you could just go to Nexus Mods and just download any mod without having an account or anything.
Right.
And they're getting rid of that. You now will have to have a free account.
Okay.
Which, it's nice when you don't have to have an account on a website to download something. God knows we all have enough accounts. But that will prevent abuse of this system, right? No one's going to be able to just brigade download a mod 10,000 times to bump their money up.
Their DP.
And they also said they're going to give the option for the mod creators, I think, to just funnel the money to a charity instead of their own bank account if they wanted to. I think that was in the announcement.
Yes,
so
yes.
if you're a mod author who doesn't really want to be paid for your work, who thinks it should be, just done out of your own passion, but there's a good way that you can spend that money. You can give it to a charitable organization, and I think that was a smart touch that they thought of that.
Cool. Yeah, this is good news overall. I think modders do some of our favorite stuff in PC gaming.
Yeah, I mean, we've just been talking in the office about Dark Souls Remastered, which is coming out this Friday, this week, and how the original version of that game on PC is really only playable with mods. Durante's DS Fix mod, super, super important for that game. And then there were a bunch of other additions to it that made the mouse and keyboard controls work better and fixed other aspects of it, eventually made it run at 60 frames instead of 30. Without that stuff, that game not only would not be fun on PC, but really would not have had the success it did. And who knows if Dark Souls 2 and 3 would have come to PC if modders hadn't really fixed up that first version and made it so much more playable.
God bless you, modders.
It's important.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work.
We salute you.
Hopefully you are swimming in DP. DP.
Don't say DP anymore, James.
I'm not going to say DP anymore. But let's move on to a darker topic. Black Ops 4.
Oh, shit.
I went to Black Ops 4 reveal last week.
How much darker is Black Ops 4 than Black Ops 3?
About one more time darker.
One darker?
1x darker than Black Ops 3. 2 times darker than 2.
Is Mason still a thing? Like, are there characters from the Black Ops?
Here's the thing. I wanted to talk about this event.
Lay down the story continuity of Black Ops.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. I played those games when they came out, and they kind of hit me and fell off like all Call of Duty campaigns do. I was entertained, and I shot bad guys and did cool things. Not to say they are bad campaigns. And I did the multiplayer, and they'll sort of bleed together for me. Maybe, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's certainly showing how between Call of Duties, the multiplayer has changed so little, really. I mean, unless you're diehard. But yeah, at the reveal, this happened in Los Angeles, and they invited all these competitive streamers, or excuse me, esports pros and streamers and community members and so on. It's this big theater, and these they would show, like, during the reveal trailers, like, a guy would pop up on screen, and he's got a mustache. Not Price. I recognize Price, but like some guy.
Wait, there's another guy with a mustache?
Yeah, there are other guys with mustaches and
I don't know how I
beards,
feel about
and
that.
everyone's like, yeah, cheering when they see him. I'm like, who are these guys? Why is there such deep affection for all these Black Ops characters? I did not know there was such deep affection for these Black Ops characters. But yeah, the event was really, I mean, it was a big video game reveal, huge stage.
Any dubstep?
I was talking to you guys while I was waiting for the event to go, and the pre-show playlist was just something else. We got Eminem, we got AC/DC, we got Aerosmith, we got Motley Crue. everything you want
Quite a mix there.
in a Black Ops pre-show stream. But yeah, I mean, I think especially on the PC, people are maybe overtly cynical about Call of Duty, and
I feel like I'm appropriately cynical about Call of Duty.
you are appropriately cynical about Call of Duty. It has been around a long time. It has changed very little, right?
Since Modern Warfare, yeah.
Since Modern Warfare, and that kind of system is well earned. These games, though, they are generally pretty good. They are just what you expect them to be with minor tweaks and changes. And Black Ops 4 is probably the most significant change in the series since 4, like by a long shot. And maybe not for the ways you think, but just how the package is composed. And
so what impressed you? What were you happy about, surprised by from what you saw?
Let me first run down through what was announced. It was Zombies is like huge now. Zombies was a fucking like Easter egg mode in the first Black Ops, I think.
Or no, World at War,
right?
Yeah,
and has since become. It felt like the thing at this event. So they revealed 2 new like full campaigns for the zombie mode. And when I say campaign, I mean just like maps, these big maps, elaborate maps that these game modes take place on. And the first was this like big weird like ancient Rome like gladiatorial stage.
They've gone really strange with the zombie mode over time, like made it much more elaborate than it used to be.
And the second was it charmed me a bit more. I mean, I was weirded out by the first one. I was like taken aback, but the second one's set on the Titanic before it goes down.
Like while it's sinking, or
I want to say, I don't know if it's while or during or what, but
iceberg imminent maybe.
Yeah, and that was a neat setting. I like old ships and zombies, and
I'll give them props for just setting that mode, those levels, just wherever the hell they want. Like they're not trying to fit it to any canon, any time period that makes sense. It's just it's like classic 90s FPS stuff, like GoldenEye, where it's just like, yeah, let's do the pyramid. Let's do the pyramid level.
Pretty much, except like with all the money, the money. So, and they announced, teased one more, which I didn't. Zombies aren't my thing. Like I don't like the zombies mode in Call of Duty, and really never have. But they teased one that I think was a throwback or like a remake or a sequel to an existing level.
So that probably got some cheers.
Yeah. It looked like a prison or something. I don't know. Zombies was huge. It's getting its own. I don't know. Basically, it feels like the front of the box material this time around.
So they still haven't actually said for sure whether there is a traditional single player campaign or not, have they?
They have. There's no single player
campaign. It's not there for sure.
It's not there.
And we expect it's going to be a battle royale mode at kind of taking that center stage.
I think so.
Or kind of sitting next to zombies.
Yeah, so they announced, that's the other big change, is they announced Blackout is the battle royale mode. They didn't show anything from it. They showed this teaser trailer and alluded to many things, but Call of Duty is getting battle royale, and it's going to feature vehicles, characters, and cobbled together locations from previous multiplayer maps, all on this massive map. Beyond that, we don't really know much. They didn't show anything. We didn't get to play it, but it's expected when Black Ops launches, like on October 12th. So that's exciting to me. That's really exciting to me. And a lot of people will go, oh, it's a cash grab. They're going for the trendy thing. Yeah, they are. But I'm mostly just curious to see how such a breathless competitive first-person game can go to how that will translate, to a massive map with vehicles and.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds are pretty much opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to pace of combat and just how much stuff is happening at any given moment. PUBG, obviously you have those bursts of action, but is a massive map with tons of downtime and tension, and Call of Duty is, go, 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 go.
Yeah. So I'm curious, but for everyone who likes the more traditional multiplayer mode, it's there too. It's a 5v5 team-focused multiplayer this time around. I'm not clear if...
they're still going to have deathmatch.
I'm pretty sure they're still going to do all that shit. That's fine. But I was surprised to see how much I actually really liked how far seemingly small changes are going in the more traditional 5v5 multiplayer. For example, you know that regenerative healing introduced in Call of Duty 2? That's gone. Healing is an action on a cooldown that you take. So
interesting. So you don't have to find an item for it.
No, it's an infinitely replenishing item that I think the cooldown is pretty short too. It's like 5 or 10 seconds, somewhere in that window. You have to run to cover and jam it into yourself, or in the face of fire, jam it into yourself. It's like already you can just like imagine how it's going to change how you think about a single encounter. It's like, instead of thinking, oh, I just have to go find cover and pop back out, you maybe want to keep charging, or you maybe want to, you don't have, your heal hasn't reset, the cooldown hasn't reset. What are you going to do? And vice versa. If you're pushing like 2 people and you see them heal, they don't have another, shot, and they're weak. They're lit, as we say in Fortnite, and you push, and you can, maybe make a more tactical decision about like whether to keep shooting them or not.
I think that's an interesting trend in shooters the past couple years, is moving back away from regenerative health to health items. This is a little different, but I think there's a trend of that was just the way every shooter did it for about 10 years, and now people kind of want to try something new, and they're either going back to older systems or they're trying something more of a hybrid approach like this.
So I like that change a lot, especially with like in tandem with the more focused focus on team play this time around. I think one way that's illustrated is in the final score. There's no KD ratio. It's just damage dealt and objective points. Those are like the big font.
That's kind of an Overwatch style approach.
Oh, they're in my headline for my hands-on. I say it's borrowing from Overwatch and Siege in a lot of ways, because specialists were introduced in Black Ops 3, but they were more like these individual abilities that like they were super situational, that really didn't, you didn't think about using as a team all the time. And this time around, a lot of the abilities for specialists are basically like classes.
Right.
So you have your class that you choose, and then their loadout, which is like the more traditional.
Kind of Battlefield-esque.
Yeah. And these classes are character-based, so they're based on people from previous Black Ops games that I don't recognize. For example, there's
You're a poor student of lore.
I know. Firebreak is one of my favorites because he has this tiny nuclear reactor, and so you're playing an objective mode where you have to capture objectives. I mean, that's like a lot of those modes are still back and they're still there. He plants this reactor core, holds it down, and within a radius of like 10 feet or something around him, the ground just lights up with fire. And this works through walls. This works like on uneven surfaces.
Will it hurt you as well?
If you hold it down long enough, it'll start taking from your health. And what it does to enemy players is it hurts them, but it also burns their health bar, so they can't regenerate past wherever they were burned or injured.
Okay.
That's the other minor change that changes how you play and visualize and think significantly, is that everyone's health bars are visible, including yours and your opponents, as long as they are within range of you. So you can see how much more damage you need to do to a guy. And like I said, in tandem with the healing, if they're not, if that their cooldown maybe has a bit more to go, you can push and make that educated guess because you see they're almost dead as well.
So for this stuff to work, I'm guessing that the health pools are a bit bigger than they used to be, or at least, like the amount of damage that you're dealing to someone is a little lower?
It's really hard to say because time to kill is still super quick.
Okay.
It's not like Overwatch, or it's not like Halo where you can do a big dance. It's still like
a few shots.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, like, hello, I saw you, you're dead. But because the health bars are visible, you can make better decisions about whether to retreat or push, or your team, like you can see whether they need help or not. It's just like giving you more information than ever before, and giving you like different ways to like deal with that information, and part of that's the healing system. Part of that is the class abilities like Fire Break. Oh God, I know there's a shitload of them on the objective. I'm gonna go like to this wall next to the burned out church where they're hiding and put down my reactor core and then push them out and tell my teammates to like watch the doorways because they're gonna a lot of these abilities are meant to work in tandem. There's a healer that can heal through walls. There's a guy with a shield who basically, just like Rainbow Six Siege, holds it out in front of him, can like have a buddy walk behind him and a little pistol, make a push.
So what's the setting for Black Ops 4? What's the era? Are we future? Is it just weird?
It's future-y.
Everything
it's future-y. I guess apparently like bad things happened at the end of Black Ops 3. It's like it's got like a more like.
Are we in some altered timeline situation?
I don't know. Apparently they're going to have do the kind of Overwatchy thing and dig into the specialist stories, like in maybe
tell kind of their campaign story through
their progression in multiplayer somehow.
Interesting.
I don't know. A lot of that has, we'll see. I think the bottom line is like Call of Duty is taking steps toward becoming a much more team focused multiplayer shooter. The class abilities are going to matter a whole lot more and favor, or at least give players who aren't like the best shot, who have maybe who got tired of like the breathless, like perfect.
They're going to give you more to do, right?
No-scope headshots to like contribute. Yeah. Which I like because I'm a little exhausted by these games at this point.
I've always enjoyed playing like support in a game like Overwatch, or used to play a ton of Halo. Whenever you would play like a team capture the flag game, the first thing everybody does at the start of the match is take all the vehicles and everything and just go on the offense. Go on offense, get killed. And I would most of the time be like, well, I'll stay back at the base and like defend it because nobody ever wants to do defense. Wants to play the objective. But if you want to win, probably you should defend your flag.
Yeah, and that's exciting. That's like an exciting step for me when I think of Call of Duty, and when I think of it in relation to the zombie mode and a full-fledged battle royale mode. Forgot the name of the thing. And the lack of a single-player campaign, like I don't think it'll matter at all, like in terms of how much there's going on there. The other thing of note before we move on is it's going to be on Battle.net, exclusively on Battle.net.
Yeah, that's a weird. I mean, sort of. It's surprising, but not at the same time.
I mean, they did that with Destiny 2. And I think it shows a renewed focus, or at least like indicates a renewed focus for the PC audience.
To me, it's just Activision going, why are we giving Valve 30%? Why are we giving other retailers this cut?
I agree. But they also have, I'm forgetting the name of the developer, working on like all these bespoke features for the PC version.
Treyarch? No. Or there's a studio handling the PC version?
And I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. But it's going to have like everything you want in a PC version. Widescreen support, multiple display support, FOV. I mean, like the UI and everything is going to be custom made for the PC, which is good to know.
That hasn't really been a big issue with the last games, right? Like maybe they didn't go all the way, but they were always solid.
It's more of it's driven by business, the decision. But I think Blizzard has, I would imagine like Blizzard has sort of like standards for what is allowed on that service. Otherwise, it would just be open to like every fucking, Activision game.
Right.
And
the Activision Blizzard relationship is very interesting and not something we really have any insight into. But I am curious if this represents, Blizzard sort of maybe losing some control over that stuff, of Activision.
That's look at it.
Overlords just being like,
put it on.
Look, guys, like we could just do it, or if that's fully embraced from them. How, is Battle.net 2 years from now going to have every major Activision series on it on PC?
I don't know. I mean, it's curious either way. But hey, that's where you're going to play Call of Duty now if you want to play Call of Duty. So, I mean, there's a lot to digest coming out of that event. You can read my impressions. I'll link to them in chat for a bit more. But I am, for the first time in a long time. I liked World War II, but it felt like more of an ode to Call of Duty 4. It felt like we're gonna do that again. This one feels like the first baby step forward for the series. And if the battle royale mode is good, then it could be a really, really big step forward for the series. So
I mean, that'll certainly be the biggest change in years if the battle royale mode is actually fun, worth playing, and that's going to be a huge diversion from
definitely
what we've seen in a long time.
Coming in hot off the presses, we've got some information about another. Did I change it? Yes, another big old first-person shooter. I'm going to link to it in chat.
Battlefield V.
Battlefield V.
Otherwise known as Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5. I think there's a live stream going on right now, and I'm surprised we have as many viewers as we do. I was like, no one's going to be in here.
Don't you guys want to watch Battlefield?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be marketed to right now? Come on.
Yeah, with enthusiastic CEOs who shouldn't be on stage, businessmen. But a lot of information coming out right now. Battlefield 5 is returning to World War II. It's happening.
It's all cyclical.
World War II.
Who could have predicted a year ago when Call of Duty went back to World War II that Battlefield would also be going back to World War II?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not surprised, I guess. I liked the return to World War I. Not the return, excuse me, but the...
Going back, yeah.
Because it meant we got junkier weapons and flimsier
weapons
gear.
in Battlefield 1 really had a lot of character.
Yeah.
And I think it was good for the sandbox overall to have that sort of slightly shorter distances, weapons that weren't quite as, insta-kill powerful as a lot of modern weapons are.
And I like that pace. It's not super discernible to people who don't play these games all the time, but it certainly changed things for me. And World War II, from what I can tell, it's going to be largely similar because this World War I, Battlefield 1 was like World War 1.5. There was a lot of technology in there that did not exist, and it was all
sure, yeah. Well, they were real guns and stuff, but it was end of the war.
Yeah, or
kind of
there were 200 of these in prototype stage, in this one squadron. World War II, we're going to see a lot of familiar weapons and stuff, but they do say they want to deliver an unexpected take on the Second World War, and I'm quoting senior producer Andreas Morel, to portray the era through unseen locations and untold stories. So expect to see new locations and sort of smaller. It's a nice fit for their stories mode, which is their single player.
Yeah, kind of small vignette and kind of missions. Yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to do African front as a big part of it. That'd be interesting. You don't see much of that in a lot of World War II media.
Definitely.
Maybe more Japan. Yeah.
The big bullet point features here that I'm going to list, and get ready for this. You can construct and rebuild fortifications.
Whoa.
Fortifications.
Where did that come from?
So it's worth noting that this isn't Battlefield is not Fortnite now. It's just that there are set points where you can...
Not yet, anyway.
I guess you can rebuild sandbags and rebuild, certain walls. And
I think it's a really smart idea, actually, because they kind of... What was it? Battlefield 3 introduced some environmental destruction of, buildings falling down and stuff, and they've kind of been building that up since then in other Battlefield games. So the idea of after shit gets blown up, you can kind of rebuild some protective, some cover, that kind of thing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Other bullet point features, 64-player Grand Operations mode. So Battlefield 1 had an Operations mode. Grand Operations incorporates multiple modes across a 3 to 4 match narrative. I don't think it was multiple modes on the old Operations mode, so that's sort of
I don't remember that, yeah.
Those were really fun, these big, long battles that you would push through multiple maps, and the narrative would change accordingly. Combined Arms, this is a big one, is a new 4-player co-op mode that happens via procedurally generated missions. So from what I'm
curious what the procedural generation means
I wonder
there.
what the random element is there, or but either way, that's cool, I suppose. Sort of, if it's what I want it to be, it's Left 4 Dead, but these sort of, we're going to throw together a cool first person, generate Call of Duty, the original Call of Duty on the fly. Not going to be like that.
I mean, we'll see. That's interesting. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah. Squad members can revive each other, so that's big, even if they aren't medics. So
they're definitely changing sort of the dynamics of the classes this time around.
Yeah, previously you had to be a medic class, and that was kind of annoying because I don't know. It made team comps or squad compositions really lopsided. Like and people almost begrudgingly played the medic, and you get these weird like medic chains where you have people crouched behind like a sand wall or something, and guy would pop out and get shot, and he'd crawl. Medic would revive him, and then that medic would die, and then another medic would revive him. You get these like infinitely like these chains of
needle pokes.
Yeah, it was so annoying. This time, everyone can revive each other, but you can never heal yourself to 100%. Medics can heal you more than other squad members. So if you're a support character and you heal a squad member, it's not going to be full health, and it's going to be less than what a medic would give you, but everyone can help everyone now.
That's cool.
So that's good.
Good for teamwork.
Yes. Stationary guns can be towed by vehicles. So that's interesting.
That's going to make for some fun.
Oh, yeah.
Fun sessions.
Some good old clips.
Just Jeeps flying over hills with giant guns behind them.
And it says, yes, you can fire them while being towed.
That's pretty cool.
Expanding like vehicle systems is really cool to me. If you can just like move guns around, like what kind of weird standoffs can we have? I don't know. It's just like when you think
that'll really can really change the dynamics around like control capture points.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome.
If you manage to get some guns towed to the right spot. You can go prone on your back and turn 360 degrees with proper animations. So previously you could go prone, but it was really awkward. You could feel like yourself pressing against the wall, and you couldn't really spin around. But now you can do the whole nice animations to your belly.
I bet there's an incredible amount of work that goes into making that feel smooth and natural.
Yep.
Which is kind of a weird thing to think about, but
that's cool. And no premium pass, so all post-launch maps and modes will be free. And that was a huge issue for Battlefield 1. I think like so many people I know who were playing it, their interest just died off as soon as because they were pretty expensive expansions.
I think the last several Battlefield games have been that way.
Yeah.
Like getting the new maps and stuff was not cheap, and those maps are always really huge, right? But that still creates this sort of mental block of like, well, for this other game there was like 5 new maps for $15 or something, and like here I'm getting 1 new map for what, I don't know what they cost, but yeah, that's a cool idea. And so we don't know if they're going to be loot boxes, but we do know that if all the post-launch maps and modes and stuff are going to be free, that money is going to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be some revenue source that keeps this game alive post-release. It's going to be something like loot boxes, I imagine. But we don't know.
Maybe they go the Fortnite route and just like throw it all out there, but it's a little more pricey. Yeah.
And they
want to
do
dance
have
like a chicken? $5.
So this time around they do have like cosmetics, right? Character customization, which is all new to Battlefield. At least this degree that they're doing.
Yeah. There's a couple images on our site. Did I link to it in chat? You can kind of roll through this with me if you like, or maybe you're watching it yourself, but I'll throw it again in chat. You can see all the images, and the characters look much more detailed this time and unique. So I imagine
they're clearly aiming for these to be characters to have some identity beyond you are soldier template number 7. A
couple minor changes that I think people will be happy about is that random bullet deviation is gone. So previously you'd get these like small jumps based on your first few shots, and even though you'd be aiming at someone, like based on recoil, the random recoil, it might like go wide or not hit exactly where you're going for. But your first few shots are not going to do that. It's going to have fixed recoil patterns. So I think if you play a lot and you're irritated by that, it's going to be nice because you'll really be able to get familiar with like how your weapon behaves, and maybe be a little less frustrated. It says here bullet penetration is also coming. So
I forgot that wasn't a thing in previous Battlefields, actually.
Bullet penetration?
I mean, you could destroy certain walls and buildings.
I think, but I don't know. That feels like old hat to me. Like, I agree. I'm just reading what Tyler has written here.
Yeah, the stuff is all kind of breaking right now.
Yeah, yeah. We just have this big explanation post Tyler has ready for us. But another big thing. So you won't spawn with all your explosives or the maximum ammo for most of your guns. And to top off, you'll need to visit resupply stations at captured objectives or talk to a support teammate. So I think I like that because you're going to really want to value that objective if it's directly tied to you, how effective you can be out in the field, and if your support teammate if you're away from an objective or you're right next to one, you're really going to depend on your support teammate to keep you topped off.
I hope it also changes the dynamic of capturing and then immediately abandoning control points.
Yeah.
In my Battlefield experience, that was the thing, right? You get there, you take it, and then no one ever goes, well, they might come and retake this immediately. I should probably try to defend it. It's just like on to the next one, right? And that's not exactly the most brilliant tactical strategy. So if this is a way to keep some players spending more time around a control point, making it more significant than just a thing you take and then move on to the next one, I think that's a smart.
Well, I mean, combined, I'm imagining this. I don't actually know, but combined with the incentive to rebuild whatever shit you destroyed there,
to make it a little easier to defend.
Yeah, and to be rewarded for that, and to maybe be able to tow in some gun emplacements. It sounds like everyone's gonna want to. There's gonna be this emphasis on just making that place nice and cozy.
That's cool.
Oh shit!
So you used to play a good bit of Battlefield, right? Like Battlefield 2 or 1942.
Battlefield 2 was my main jam. 1942, I kind of came in on the tail end of back in the internet cafe days. But Battlefield 2 was my shit.
So is there anything you kind of miss from those older games that hasn't been in the more recent ones, or elements of that experience that you're kind of hoping to see recaptured in new ways in this game?
Not really. I mean, for me, this is again, holy shit, these FPS games I've been playing or have been interested in for so long.
A decade.
Finally, changing in ways I want them to change. And largely in similar ways, focusing on team play. I think the fantasy of Battlefield 2 when I played it and all those old Battlefield games was to work together and to feel like you have to defend, to going on the offense and defense and acting according to your commander or whoever else, the tactical need of the map. That was the fantasy, and to really see more of an emphasis on guarding those objectives and team play. That's kind of what I've always wanted, and it feels like it's been way too long since they've doubled down on that. So I don't know. I'm very excited. This is really exciting to a long time Battlefield.
Seems like a lot of just kind of small core changes for the better.
Yeah. Small design decisions that go a long way.
And also interesting to see, at least so far. I mean, who knows what they'll announce before this game comes out, but Call of Duty and Battlefield sort of diverging in their approach to what's hot right now. In that Call of Duty, clearly they went, okay, Battle Royale, let's do it.
Yeah.
That's the hot shit. Let's, screw the campaign. Let's do that. And Battlefield is still going to have a campaign. And, Battlefield 1, I think, was the first Battlefield campaign, excluding Bad Company, that anybody was like, oh, this is actually good. Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, not so hot on the campaign front. So they're keeping the campaign, and Battlefield is not going after what's trendy unless that Battle Royale mode comes later. Decent chance
as far as we know right now.
But right now they're sticking with that core sandbox, and they're making a lot of small but significant changes to how it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, even listen to this. You can now drag your down teammates to cover. That adds to the wartime fantasy, but also is it's just a smart.
And you can revive them somewhere where you're not likely to both just immediately get shot again.
So that's cool. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic with this. You can check out our whole post here, but there's a huge emphasis on animation, and Tyler goes into all sorts of detail. I linked to it already just above, so check it out if you want to know more. I'm sure more media will be coming out in the following weeks. I'm sure they'll have a lot to show at E3. They tend to just let people play it, so I would imagine that's the case. Yeah. Also, it's coming out, I think, October 12th or something like that.
And when was Call of Duty coming out?
October 11th.
Wow.
October 12th might be like the Origin Early Access release date or whatever that is. Access Pass. I don't know what they call it. So either way,
they're really bumping up against each other this year, though.
Yeah, that's like the closest I can recall in recent memory. But yeah, a lot of going on in the wartime shooter space, and it's exciting to me, which I didn't expect to say. I thought I'd be fatigued by both of these, but no. Let's move on to questions and close out the show.
Questions.
If you have a question, just tag me, PC Gamer, in the Twitch chat, and I'll see if we can get to it. We do favor our PC Gamer Club members' questions above all else because they are our children. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, go to club.pcgamer.com. You can find out more. It's a small subscription that goes directly to us. You get an ad-free experience on the site. You get access to our Discord.
You get Tub Geralt in 4K.
Tub Geralt in 4K. Digital subscription to the magazine. What else? Free game each month. Beta codes as soon as we get them. We'll throw them at members first. Whatever else we get, we just try and find good ways to
share the love.
Guys. Yeah. So let's see what we got. I think coming off of the Call of Duty talk, let's talk about Nick's question here. Nick Manley, 1987. Curious to hear your thoughts and anyone else on the show about whether your playtime with excuse me, the phraseology here. But whether based on your playtime with Black Ops 4, it can be a good title sans single-player campaign. And I think I answered that. I think it will be.
Yeah.
I don't know who's really going to miss those single-player campampes, like desperately
some
miss
people.
them.
There's definitely that contingent of Call of Duty players who
I don't want
like the campaign.
Trample on you, but I think
there's better out there.
There are better games out there.
Better campaigns.
Yes. I think we'll be fine, Nick. Thanks for the question. Battle Tank asks, ever consider reviewing mods for games?
So we actually did review the mod Enderal for Skyrim, which was a huge expansion mod, really ambitious. It was basically an entire campaign built in the Skyrim engine, its own setting, own voice acting, writing, everything. And after doing that and putting a score on it, I think we kind of decided that because they're free, largely because they're free, because they're kind of a community goodwill creation, that we didn't, going forward, didn't want to at least regularly review mods kind of to the same expectations that we do a full game that you're either paying money for or is that it's a free-to-play game and has some kind of economy there. So we cover mods all the time. We'll certainly give our opinions on them, but I think the traditional kind of review format isn't something that we're likely to use for mods very often.
Yeah. I mean, like, the judgment you need to make is like, do I want to spend time checking it out or not? And there's not a lot of real, monetary value lost there. And most mods we do recommend or write about are probably pretty good. Yeah. There's a lot of good systems out there for like telling what's good anyway. So mods. Thanks for the question, Battle Tank. Buttface Jones. I like this one. A simple question for everybody, and answer with your heart. It's not for a specific game.
All right.
But who's your main?
Who's your main?
Who's your main? Your heart, Wes.
I mean, that's a deep question, actually. Surprisingly deep.
When I think that, what comes to mind, I don't even play Overwatch, but Winston just pops up into my head. I don't know. Scientist Gorilla really speaks to me.
I guess I have to go with Vigar, who is a wizard character in League of Legends who was, I guess, probably not the first character I played, the first champion I played, but close to, and was my main in that game. And I probably played 60-70% of my league matches as this character. And he was for a while very strong, and then kind of fell out of the meta, and I haven't played it really in years, so I have no idea if he's been kind of a competitive pick since 2012 or whatever it was. But he was always really fun to me because he had the best stun in the game. You could stun a whole enemy team with him if you placed your stun right and set up your team for a win. And his ult had this ability that basically did damage based on the mana or the it was based on the AP of the person you hit it with. So he was an anti-caster. In other words, if you hit like an attack damage character with his ult, it'll hurt him, but it's not going to do that much. But if you hit another caster with your ult, it does damage based on your AP and their AP.
Okay.
And so you could just basically one-shot any other caster if you were
Hot damn.
if you were able to hit him with it. So
Some real
he was a
skill-based stuff.
fun character.
Right on. Good question, Buttface. I really had to dig deep for that, but I didn't.
Yeah, you totally wussed out on
I mean,
that
like, I don't play a lot of class-based stuff. I was thinking of a Fortnite skin. I was like, that doesn't count. Speaking of Fortnite skins and skins in general, I guess, JBJ Blaze asks, since clever charitable moves like Hellblade's proceeds going to charity for mental health for a limited time, and then Overwatch's Pink Mercy skin for breast cancer charity, what other games do you think could do a limited time charity purchase that relates to the game itself? I mean, literally any game.
Yeah, it's a great thing that I would love to see, any developer do.
Yep. I mean,
It's something Riot actually used to do
A lot.
Did in the past. I bet they still do it, but I just don't follow League of Legends. But
Fortnite, I'm surprised I haven't done that yet, but I expect it.
it's something I would love to see. Even things in the gaming industry that are not games specifically do. Like Valve could sell something on Steam, whether it's a skin for Steam or card or some kind of Steam item that delivers money to a charity organization. Like God knows they rack up enough money for the international prize pool and stuff.
Hell yeah.
They could do something with the massive install base of Steam to support a charitable cause. That would be great.
Yeah. So yeah, expect to see more of that, I would hope. Mildos. Can we get some sweet new emoji? I'm thinking we need a bathtub Geralt emoji. Possibly, yeah. I mean, like, I'm currently in the position of translating the show. So for those of you who don't know, PC Gamer is moving headquarters to New York. So everyone's kind of splintering off, and we're going to basically have to do this show remotely. And in that process requires way more work than I anticipated, as it turns out.
It's like we'll just slap some graphics
Yeah,
on
just get
the
some graphics,
screen.
OBS, home stream, blah, blah, blah. No, to do it consistently and well, it's going to take a lot of work. And emojis are on the list they're like the bottom of the list, is what I'm saying. They're the bottom of the list right now.
Least important thing on the list.
Right now, the goal is get some graphics in and get a cool format, more digestible, interesting format, and some new segments. And a lot of feedback has said more hardware segments, more hardware focus. I think going remotely, we'll be able to have Jared and Bo on more often to do that.
Coconut Monkey's going to be the new host.
Coconut Monkey.
Going to replace you.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
No,
He can't speak.
he can't speak. He shall not speak.
It would be horrifying if he
It
could
would be
speak.
fucking worst. I don't know. Yeah, but emojis are happening. I mean, it's funny you say that because we do, for the PC Gamer Show, we will have special emojis from a sponsor.
The PC Gamer Show at E3.
Yeah, excuse
PC
me.
Gaming Show.
PC
at E3.
Gaming Show at E3, excuse me. Different conjugations. But yeah, so emojis are happening. If you have ideas, Bathtub Geralt's one. That's hard to translate to a tiny little... Maybe we could do quarters, but then we would need extra space. I don't know. I'm learning a lot about Twitch as I do this. So if you have any ideas, email me at james@pcgamer.com, or if you know me in the Discord, just throw your ideas in my DMs. Thanks for the question. Acid Wolf asks, most anticipated game of summer? Vampire for me. Hoping it delivers on some Vampire Bloodlines vibes.
I forgot that was finally coming out this summer.
Yeah. I feel like I've been hearing about it forever at this point. Anything coming out this summer that's really
I honestly cannot see past E3, so I don't
It's
even
really hard.
I don't even remember what's coming out this summer.
I think Friday I'm excited to see Dark Souls
New Dark
Remastered.
Souls.
I guess
What else is coming, James?
I'm looking here. I'm looking right now, and what else we got this summer? I got the Crew 2 this summer, which
So Monster Hunter World's probably going to be fall.
yeah.
But that's kind of the next big thing that I'm waiting to play on PC.
Yeah, if there's things we're forgetting here, maybe I'll...
Moonlighter is coming out really soon.
The heck is that?
Moonlighter is an indie kind of action RPG adventure game kind of following the idea of, what was it called, Recettear, the item shop game. So Moonlighter is like kind of a Zelda-y adventure game where you go into dungeons, kill enemies, get loot, and then you bring them back to your item shop and you sell them to the townspeople. So it's sort of the reverse dungeon crawler style game that looks really nice art. Supposed to be really fun from impressions I've gotten of it. So
cool. I mean, like, wait, what was that one more time?
Moonlighter.
Moonlighter. So if you're curious,
I think you're a shop owner who moonlights as an adventurer.
that makes fun. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. For me, I don't know. Vampire is like the one. Like I forgot it was coming out this summer, so I guess it's now my most anticipated. I also have been not paying attention to the media for that as much as I can. Just
going fresh.
Yeah, trying to. Fortnite's gonna keep me going, I think, throughout the summer. I'm kind of like trying to back off from new games, just get through my backlog a little bit. But we'll see.
It's not gonna happen if you keep playing Fortnite.
I know. I don't have time to play games, even though it's my job. It's okay. It's okay. Mutton Bandit. That's a great name. Is there a game you always come back to on a regular basis? What's your go-to?
I'd say not really these days, but I mean, there are games that I'll go back to every few years and play, I'll always try out a new Halo when it comes out.
Yeah.
Or a new Zelda. I don't know, I was kind of burned out on Zelda, but Breath of the Wild was incredible. I've been playing NetHack the past couple years in bursts. So I haven't played it in like 6 months, but I'll go back and then play a bunch of it for a little while. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have kind of a mainstay these days. It's hard to keep people committed to a multiplayer game, including myself, but without like a core group of friends playing it, every few days, like I'm not going to stick with it.
It's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult.
You get adult lives get very busy.
That's the thing, man. I like dream of playing Siege regularly with everyone that I know and love, but it's just time. But yeah, I mean, like for me, Fortnite is easy to play on my own because I don't have to have people around. It's nice when they are around. But when people are around, a game I can't stop returning to is Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege.
It's just, I think it's one of the best competitive first-person shooters ever made. Like, easily. It's just like tactical hide and seek. It's so much fun.
Hide and seek,
much fun.
Good shit.
It's hide and seek rules.
Good game.
Hide and seek rules. But I love to dip into old. I'll sometimes boot up The Witcher and just dink around for a little bit, or Skyrim, or whatever. A lot of those old big adventure games. Yeah, Super Hexagon, another one. Thanks for the question. Let's see here. Any other cues? Damn good gamer. Are you ready for getting wrecked in Dark Souls Remaster PvP? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been playing that Dark Souls 3 PvP.
If I play it, I definitely will get wrecked. So I guess I'm ready for that.
I'm excited to. It'd be fun to like play again, and now that there's the password system, it'll be a lot easier to play with a friend.
I played the first game co-op actually, but it was much harder at the time. Thankfully, somebody made a mod for Dark Souls on PC back when it was still on Games for Windows Live, where you just using this mod, it would basically only match you with people on your friends list. So it would filter out all of the other random signs. And so once you and someone else had that installed and you were on each other's friends list, once somebody put a sign down, it would actually show up.
Well, there you go.
But that game's still kind of limited in which areas you can do co-op. So, not the smoothest co-op experience, but damn, was it a good time.
It was. Yeah, I'm going to die in Dark Souls, but I'm excited. I'm going
to die.
Oh, here's a good one. I found it. Maniac86 asks, anyone on the PC Gamer staff have fun stories about the origins of their gaming names, handles, call signs, whatever you want to call them? Hopefully not too many. Wow, this is a magnum opus, dude. XX69, XX420, XX Fidget Spinner, 733 TSXX. For the record, mine came from Wing Commander.
How did you know James's BattleNet
How did
login?
you know? Do you have any old call signs or?
Yeah, one
handles
that I'll still use pretty often is Big Muffin.
Yeah. That's a good one.
On some services.
Wow, there's a theme here. I'll get to mine.
I came up with that one in high school. In my high school, I took a class on, I guess it was drafting. We did like 2D like house design stuff, and then same teacher, same classroom also did like a 3D modeling, 3D animation class, and that was like the only class in the building, I guess, that had Windows PCs. Everything else were Macs, and at some point someone had installed the Halo 1 PC demo on every system in there. So the last like 5-10 minutes of class, our teacher would just be like, yeah, you can play Halo, I don't care.
Fucking A,
and so we would just like Blood Gulch multiplayer all the time.
Right on.
And there were a lot of rednecks in that class who were really upset by the idea of being killed by someone named Big Muffin. And so that was how I came up with that username. I don't remember the actual inspiration for it, but that was the pissing them off was the goal.
It's a good combo of words. Yeah. I think it's timeless. I mean, a lot of those you look back on and you go, "Oh God, what was I thinking?" But timeless.
It's one that whenever I try to sign up with it somewhere and it's taken, I'm like, "Fuck you, that's mine."
There's a theme here, but my very first handle, gosh, I think it was on Steam. When I figured out you could change your name, like my original Steam name is like really boring. It's like TEH_James, just misspelled.
You're so funny.
I know, ha ha ha. But my first handle that I used across Xbox Live and everything else was Low Fatty Patty, and I got it from looking to the left and seeing my mom's cookbook there. And what was on the front?
Low Fatty
Patty.
It's a good one.
I think it rolls off the tongue and it's stupid, and that's very, I like stupid a lot. And the next one after that was It's Just Cake, and food. Food is like a theme for me, I guess. Now I stick with just James and some similar stuff. But yeah, if you have any good stories, share them with me in Discord. I'd love to hear yours. But I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for all the good questions. A lot of first-person shooter talk. A lot more to come, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks when we inevitably hear about the 10 more Battle Royale modes we don't know about.
So we'll have a show next week, and then E3 is the week after that? No, two weeks till E3 after that.
We should be around until the week of E3. So don't expect a show the week of E3 because it's going to be all about,
we're going to be there on the ground doing stuff.
Boots on the ground, as they say in Call of Duty. We'll be there. Boots on the ground.
No jetpacks.
No jetpacks, though. No jetpacks. But until then, you can always catch us twitch.tv/PCGamer, 1 p.m. Wow, speaking hard, difficult. At 1 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday at twitch.tv/PCGamer. After the fact at youtube.com/PCGamer, we put the VOD up. Or at PCGamer.com/tag/podcast. We have our whole archive of shows there. And you can find the iTunes subscription link and the MP3 and the RSS feed and every other format we can make available to you. All there. So until next week, game on.
James, you should apologize for that.
Sorry.